Abel, thank you very much for joining me today. I'm sure everybody's interested in hearing your insights into the topics that we're discussing. The first question I've got for you is, how integral is having an open mind to becoming a successful leader?
Thank you for having me, first of all. On that first question, I will say that how much you can keep your mind open will determine how successful you are as a leader in the long run. I remember early in my career, I will try to show off or prove myself by making sure that I had all the answers, that I wasn't making any mistakes, that if anybody asked me anything, I knew that I had something to say. But obviously, that didn't last very long, right? Early on, I recognized that the answers didn't have to come from me, that my role as a leader had more to do with building the team that will come up with the answers and making sure that they didn't have obstacles on our way to them. Mhm.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's an important part, isn't it? It's sort of almost trusting in your ability to delegate and just foster and build up the team around you, as opposed to, as you say, just becoming a sort of a dictator type leader whereby it's your way or no way, and encouraging other people to have their own voice and contribute in their own way.
Of course, I think that as a leader, you need to make sure that you have a crystal clear vision on what the problem is that you're trying to solve and that you're trying for your team to solve. Having that and having the ability to communicate that goal, that mission to your team members, that's really where you need to have full confidence on. After that, it's more enabling your team to come up with the answers to solve those problems. As long as you can balance those two things, I think you'll be all right.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much. So the second question I've got for you, Abel, is what advice can you give the viewers on finding a healthy work-life balance?
Sure. The answer that I will have for that is that you should treat your job as if it was a practice. Imagine when you're trying to learn how to play an instrument or when you're going to the gym, you balance these activities with the rest of your life so you can give yourself a chance to become better at it every time that you're trying it for a certain number of hours a day. So when you put that focus on work, it really starts helping you to find the right balance on sleeping better, eating better, becoming even a better person, so you can have a larger impact whatever you are performing, whatever you're doing your job.
Yeah, definitely. It comes back to that, work smart, not hard type of situation, doesn't it? Like you say, if you can get more done, or you can get to a point where you're getting more done in the hours that you spend working in a day, it means that you're not then having to work overtime, and that time can instead be spent, as you say, on personal development or, your wellness, for example. Yeah, it's a really great way to approach it.
That's exactly it. I think it's good that we all see ourselves as assets that are coming into these companies, these organizations, to provide value. But the more we become better at it, again, looking at it as a practice, the more valuable we become to these organizations. And I think that goes beyond the working hours into our personal lives. Mhm.
Yeah, for sure. I think, I personally have been in a position where I felt maybe burnt out in the past, and I think I did a similar thing where I sort of sat down and assessed how much time I was doing a lot into work in my week, and I think it was probably too much time, and instead I could have been more effective in the time that I was my core hours, you should say. So yeah, I think that was a massive change that I made that really helped me in sort of getting a better work-life balance.
Yeah, that's very true. And I feel that over the past few years, this has been this wave where companies make an effort to make sure that their employees are taking care of themselves. I think that is commendable. However, I truly feel that that initiative, that care, should come from ourselves. We should not be externalizing that responsibility. It's great that we're getting help from other people, but ultimately, it's our responsibility to develop ourselves as professionals, as assets, and make sure that we're in a position to do the best job that we can. Right.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Perfect. Thank you very much. And the final question I've got for you then is, what's the most valuable lesson that you've personally learned about leadership, and then how has that shaped your approach to leading others in the future?
Good question. I will say the best lesson that I've learned is realizing how powerful it is to connect the company's goal, the company's mission, to each team member's motivation to be in the company at that moment, because that really puts you in a position to connect those two, right, and make it very evident how the time that each person is spending in the organization is giving value to both parties. And after you do that, it's more of maximizing that value that each person can contribute to the overall mission. I will say that just because you're making that match, you need to realize that the organization might need a square, like a square shape. That doesn't mean that this employee's destiny is to become a square. It just means that they need that function for the moment. But I think like a second application of that realization is to say, okay, you need to be a square for now, but why are you being a square? What do you want to be in the future? How is this helping you in your own life plans? And then you can have more honest and actually more impactful conversations with the people in your team. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that would be a good advice.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I really appreciate that. I think that's great to that I can imagine it being quite powerful to have your personal goals aligned with the company's goals, because as you say, it's a shared journey then, isn't it? You're all working towards the same target for your own personal reasons, but you're also achieving something for others as well, which is, really powerful.
Yeah. I think everybody's destined to become something different. And these moments that we stay in companies, mm, most of the time, they're temporary, right? Well, every time they're temporary. So it becomes more of a game of how much perfection, how much value can I create with these temporary missions or motivation from different people, right? Out of multiple lives that are connecting with each other, how can we make something significant with our time together? That's another nice way of looking at it.
Yeah, and I can imagine that, if you've got a team full of people that are all performing in their best sort of capacity because they're all heading towards their own goal, it sets a
Right.
great example for others as well around you, doesn't it? It's that almost introducing an environment of optimum performance, and I think that's really powerful as well.
Yeah, even if in that situation, even if everybody's working on the same thing, internally they might be pulling at different angles, and that's not going to end up in the best situation that you could. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Amazing. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate your insights there, and I'm sure everybody else listening will do as well.
Thank you so much, Danny, for having me.